down, fire come down. We lift our voice to the most high crown. Yada, yada, Yahuwah. Yada, yada, Yahuwah. We give you praise, we give you praise, Yahuwah. Yada, yada, Yahuwah. Yada, yada, Yahuwah. Alagbawi mi mo be orúkọ rẹ ga. I lift your name higher, higher. Yeah. You gave us Ruach on the mountain high, Torah written with fire from the sky. Voices rise, the nations heard your name. Now we stand never the same. Yada, yada, Yahuwah. Yada, yada, Yahuwah. We give you praise, we give you praise, Yahuwah. Yada, yada, Yahuwah. The King who created me, I look upon him with esteem. Oh, he healed my mind, broke every trait. Halagbara Yahuwah, he reigns. He taught my lips to speak the truth. Osope Yahuwah Niotito. I say that Yahweh is true. Ruach, 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 fall on me, lending me more, sorry me, seal me in your name eternally. Walorum I look at the friend at home. Yada, 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 Yahuwah. Yada, 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 Yahuwah. We testify and lift your name. Nainto pani, nainto fumi la yeah. You who saved me, you who gave me life. Right. I lift my hands to the Shemayim, for you alone are Eluah. You split the sea, you crush the wicked by your right hand. I will not die. Who is like you? Yahuwah Tizbaut, your name is power, my soul takes note. You made a covenant sealed with fire. Kadash, Kadash, Kadash. Mighty Yahuwah, I serve. You ride on the cloud, shake the earth with your word. You are Kadash, you are true. My strength, my rock, I trust in you. Mighty Yahuwah, I serve. You reign forever, let all the tribes return. From Yahudah to Yasharal, sing hallelujah, Yamanuel. You feed the righteous with living bread. You wake the dead, just as you said. From Abraham to Moshe's hand, you keep your promise across the land. Who is like you, Yahuwah Tizbaut? Your name is power, my soul takes note. You made a covenant sealed with fire. Kadosh, Kadosh, mighty Yahuwah, I serve. You ride on the clouds, shake the earth with your word. You are Kadosh, you are true. My strength, my rock, I trust in you. Mighty Yahuwah, I serve. You reign forever, let all the tribes return. From Yahudah to Yahusha, sing hallelujah, Yamanuah. Yamanuah. You are my shepherd, I shall not lack. You lead me forward, never turn back. Mighty Yahuwah, I serve. Mighty Yahuwah, I serve. Ride on the clouds, shake the earth with your word. You are Kadosh, you are true. My strength, my rock, I trust in you. Mighty Yahuwah, I serve. You reign forever, let all the tribes return. From Yahudah to Yahusha, sing hallelujah, Yamanuah.
We lift our hearts in Yah.
Higher than every disease, every burden. Just lift your voice. If you can speak in tongues, lift it up. Speaking in tongues. Prepare your heart for deliverance. The name of Yahusha, higher than all other names, higher than every storm and pain. How majestic is your name, O Yahuwah, in all the earth. Your name is strength and fire. Your name is steam and light. In you we are redeemed. The name of Yahusha, higher than other names, misled of all kings, no other name like his. The name of Yahusha, higher than other names, Aleph and Tav, no other name like his. Your name like oil poured out upon my soul. In your name we overcome. In your name there's triumph, Yahusha. Your name is power. The name of Yahusha, higher than other names, King of all kings, no other name like his. The name of Yahusha, higher than other names, Aleph and Tav, no other name like his. Every idol is falling, powerless and dead. But Yahusha died and rose again. He reigns forever in your name. Every knee shall bow. In your name we are saved. Call and respond. Call that name Yahusha. Cry out the name Yahusha. Lift up your voice, Yahusha. Oh, Yahusha. Spontaneous prayer. Yahusha over my family. Yahusha over my children. Yahusha over my home. Yahusha over my body. Yahusha in every storm. Yahusha in every war. Yahusha over all. Prophetic declaration. There's healing in your name. There's power in your name. There's salvation in your name. There's a miracle in your name. The blind see chains break. Tumors disappear. The dead rise in the name. Final. The name of Yahusha, higher than other names, mighty and set apart, no other name like his. The name of Yahusha, our deliverer and king, eternal and righteous, no other name like his. There's nothing better than the living God. There's nothing better than the living God. Ask and he will give. Seek and you will find. There's nothing better than the living God. There's nothing better.
Every righteous vessel shall have and live a healthy life. That was promised. He promised it by a
Lord, the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm. This is a war cry. Devil will say no to you over this generation. I shout, let the army roar.
Have you heard of the term tongues? I'm sure you have. We can see this throughout the entire Bible. In fact, going all the way back to Genesis chapter 10, we can see a lot concerning that subject. And today, we are going to get into a subject that is in our Father's letter. So, I want to preference this. I wasn't qualified to teach this years ago, but today, definitely qualified. Now, how do we know that? Because we have his name, and now we understand what happened during the first earth age, and we're living in the second, and how to actually approach a chapter without taking words out and making those words idols. So today, we are going to talk about what our Father is actually talking about in chapter 2. And in chapter 2, buckle up, because it's not what you think. It's going to definitely throw away some of your sacred cows, but more importantly, your eyes are going to open up, your ears are going to hear, and you're going to get free. So grab a pen, grab a notepad. We are going to really get into this today, and most likely we will not finish it. But one thing is for sure, when you hear the truth, it does make you free. Yes, it does make you free. So welcome today. Woo.
Good morning, guys. It is going to be an awesome. Like Mark said, you got to take some notes, because you got to kill those sacred cows that are meditating in that back of that head of yours, that fourth, that back thought, because it's going to be some strong stuff that's like, oh my goodness, you're going to be doing all that. We've been there and we already did it. So you're going to be doing it too, but it's important to take the notes, because the notes, you'll be able to bounce back and look over after you go through that emotion, because it will be a little bit of emotion.
It's going to be a lot of emotion.
Yeah. But with that, we could go ahead and
I want to say that for everybody watching, when you become a victim to, like, you want to, if I can just take my hand, just slap myself like this, left and right, and thinking that you're motivated to do the right thing, right? But then you find out that Yeshua, when he said he was a master at deception, you cannot take that lightly.
That's right.
You cannot take that lightly, that he's a master of deception. And you almost want to say, I want to give it to him, but I want to sock that joker, man. I mean, he had me looking stupid. Stupid. I mean, literally stupid when it comes to this chapter. And I bought it, hook, line, and sinker, with the clear conscience I was correct. Only to discover that the only thing that can make you free and deliver you is that name. It's in that, we were just talking about that, and that name is the miracle. Not in somebody else's own, their own algorithm, their own ritual statement. The power is in the name. It's not in a statement. It's in the name. And so all the authority rests inside that name. And so when you get that name, he will free you up, and then he will start showing you exactly what the word says. And so we're going to go into the book of Acts chapter 2. Grab a notepad, a pen. You want to get hold of this. Buckle up. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Acts chapter 2, verse 1. All right. And here it goes. It says, and on the day of, or when the Yom, the day of festivals of weeks, this is Shavuot, had come, they were all with one mind in one place. Now, this is very important to understand because this is giving you the setting after Yahushua had left and he had risen in chapter 1. And now what we see here is that these individuals, these groups of individuals were there. Now, we're going to get into what groups are there. Mostly individuals from North Africa and Turkey and that region of the world during that time. We would say in our updated language, Africans, they were Saudis, they were Persians. That's what we would call them today. In that room. There was a couple of Greeks that were there, but primarily there was a lot of different groups that had various different dialects. Pay attention to that word, dialects. And they were in that room. And so this first verse is very important because what you have to understand is that in America, we understand a couple of things. We understand Democrat, Republican. But during this time, they're tribal. So your tribes live, 70 miles, 80 miles, 100 miles apart, and they end up developing a certain type of, what's it called when you have different pitches, when you sing, you got different dialects, okay? They develop different dialects. So the guy from the east, the guy from the north, no different than we can hear some of those dialects from people that lived in Florida and the Byway and over there in Louisiana versus the guy in New York versus the guy in Boston, right? So you can hear different dialects and they approach sentences differently. But the beautiful thing about the beginning of this chapter, it's setting the tone. First of all, the first portion of it is that the guys that are in there are with one mind in one place. Yahuwah saw that. That's what he saw. Okay, let's keep going. All right. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven. Okay, the Shahamim. And it describes that sound in that room as a rushing mighty wind. And it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared to them divided tongues as of fire, and settled on each one of them. Now, let's talk about this. This is very important. There's a statement here that is used in the Masorah with regards to what actually happened. And again, the focus is they're in unity, and this has just happened, okay, right after Yahusha left, and they are in the room talking about his name, talking about who he is, talking about, they all in agreement about what he did. They looking to take over. They want to do certain things. This is not about the American version, okay, of ETTTTT, okay? This is not the ta-ta-tas and I shoot the mosquitoes, okay? This has nothing to do with that. This is actually on how they were in harmony, and it was never emphasized about the American tongue. And I would preface it the American tongue because they had talked about this with Azusa. Okay. So now let me read this again. And one of your translation, this one says divided tongues. Another one says cloven. cloven tongues. And so what cloven is like, have you ever seen a cow hoof? It's split. A cow hoof, how it splits like that. Okay. But notice that it comes together right there. So it's a cloven. And a cloven tongue is they're in this room, and let's just say I was speaking one language, okay? And then when that fire came up on me, at the same time I was speaking that one language, another language came out. Now, I'll give you an illustration of this in just a bit. No, I'll do it right now. I can speak a few languages. Didn't say I was fluent, but I can. So when we taught martial arts, we would always go ich, ni, song, chi, go, root, right? We would talk like that. Everybody pretty much knows uno, dos, tres, cuatro, right? So what happens, what a cloven tongue is, and what a divided tongue is simply this. Pay attention. Uno, dos, tres, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in the room, they were speaking uno, dos, tres, and then soon before they know it, when the fire hit them, they said 4, 5, 6, 7. So and when that happened, they all noticed it. 120 of them. Okay, let's keep on going. All right, and they were filled with the ruach. So imagine the Kodesh ruach. So they were separated and began to speak with other tongues as the ruach gave them to speak. Now, they began to speak, not chatter.
Right.
Let's get that right. Speak. Meaning they were talking to each other.
In clarity. Understand.
In clarity, they were speaking in other languages. It wasn't shoot a mosquito. It wasn't that. Now, how did we get to that place? Because you have to understand that we got to the place of praying like that, of saying things like that, because it wasn't from the Ruach. It was from the flesh. And Lucifer was controlling it the whole time. So he got everybody ushu kuda boo 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 boo. And the reason why, because that sound does not come from the Ruach in you. It comes from the flesh. It appeases the flesh. This chapter had nothing to do with Ushudabu, scootabu, 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 scootabu. You cannot speak scootabu, 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 ta, 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 E-D-D-D-D-D. How's that speaking? How's that speaking? D-D-D-D-D-D-D. Shoo-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. How's that speaking? That is not speaking. And now, and it says, as the Ruach gave them to speak. Now, do you know how precious it is for if you're watching and you have the ability to speak another language? Let me share this with you. So, Kim knows this. You know, I can, if I go into certain countries and I'm there long enough, if I'm there, I would start picking it up. I haven't, studied it. I mean, I'll just start picking it up and I'll be conversational, literally conversational. And I start doing that with a couple of languages. And one is Hebrew and one is Spanish. And if I don't speak Spanish long enough, I'll forget it. So but here, the thing is crazy is that I never took Spanish at school, but I can somehow read it. Now, how is that? That is the gift of the Ruach. So I can go into and being, I learned, just sitting, we used to get our nails done, and the Thai people would start talking and everything, and I'd be there like, damn, boom.
You start picking, yeah.
I'd be in there talking, and those are real statements. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that means I love my wife. but I would be in there doing that, and then we'll travel, and then I'll take another dialect. You know, in dialects or languages, Tikanis. The people say Tikanis, Kalasi. It's Greek. Okay, but if I'm fluent, if I'm practicing something, I have another language, and so I can write down Spanish. I even wrote down something in Spanish, and I'm gonna read it to you. Like if somebody comes and like my lawn, or my, you know, I'm talking to my lawn dog. I say, hey, and I can do the. Watch this. I can not only speak it, but I can do the dialect. Yeah. So he'll come up. I say, ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué pasó, amigo? Right. And then he'll come in, and I'll be like, what will I say? I'll say,
Well, yeah. God, y'all talk so fast.
quiero ver mi casa, you know, quiero ver mi casa, you know. And he'll talk back, and basically I'm saying, what are you going to do in my yard, you know. I said, muchos trabajos.
Like when you going to do my yard.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, wait. I said, ¿Dónde estás, amigo? You know, ¿Qué pasó? You know, que, you know, I'll talk to him, and, you know, I ask him, you know, muchos trabajos, I want the dinero, right?
And he speaks English, but
Yeah.
they just, I
And
guess they
then,
don't want to
yeah, and then we like, yeah. I say, yeah, ¿Dónde, amigo?
Yeah.
Aquí. What? Yeah. Por favor. Ándale pues. Right? And so he would come.
Or what he say is hot. It's too hot. What he tell you is too hot.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah, it's too hot.
Yeah.
Then I'll say something I can't say on air. If he says too hot, he start complaining. So, but, you know, I would talk to him, and the more I talked to him, even though I wasn't raised in it, I could, and he would say things that I hadn't heard before, but somehow I knew what he was saying. And the contents of what he was saying. I knew what he was saying. And I saw this happen to me also when we were in another country. I also heard that as well. And I can understand it. And when we were in like Rome and they were speaking Greek, I understood it. Not because I went to school, it's because the Ruach allows you to hear it at his pleasure. This process is the sign. That's the sign. That's one of the indications. Now let me tell you why. Because from the time of, like, when you first see the mention of tongues, is located in Genesis chapter 10, verse 20. Now, you don't have to do it, but reading the whole chapter, I'll tell you what it's about. It's about the genealogy. Chapter 10. It goes into genealogy. It talks about Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and it talks about tongues. Now, when it gets to the tongues, it's referring to languages because of their separation between the brothers and their dialects. And so once you got the thing about having a tongue back in those days, it was to protect the family, to protect your assets. So they would have other dialects that they didn't write down. But how Yah got to them, he would put somebody in their midst and they would begin to speak like them. And that was the gift. That was the gift. And so as they separated and they multiplied the earth. And so between that time and all the way up to that day in this chapter, everyone's dialects and languages had to be really studied. They couldn't figure out what each other were saying because there was no crossover. That's why it says cloven, because that's why it says divided. So that when the Ruach hit them, the Ruach went from, again, like I gave the illustration of, uno, dos, tres, 4, 5, 6. All of a sudden, they were speaking, if you will, English. And that's what happened on that day. The fact that they were speaking the same language wasn't the focus. The fact that wasn't the focus for what we hear today. It's the fact that they were on one accord and YAHUAH saw it. They saw these men hanging out, talking to each other. I'll just give you an example. And not that, you had an Asian guy, a black guy, a Mexican guy, Panamanian guy, guy from North Africa, South Africa, and they were all in the room eating and feeding each other and looking like they were just so in one accord that even though they didn't understand each other fully, they knew that they were on a mission from Yah. So what kept them together was the fact that what had taken place from everything that Peter's about to talk about. And that cloven tongue, that caused Yah to bring fire upon them and give them the ability to communicate on one accord. Okay, let's keep going.
You got the goosebumps?
I did. You can see the goosebumps. I got the goosebumps. Okay. All right. Now watch this. Verse, where we at? Verse 4. It says, and they were filled with the Kodesh and began to speak with other tongues. That means languages, as the Ruach gave them to speak. Now let's go into, I'm going to put something up here in just a moment. And I want you to see the word tongues, because just to give you the absolute understanding that this is not Edo Kodo Shuda, okay? That never was Yah's intent. Although sometimes in a certain group of people, as you're hearing it, you can hear a lost language that could have sounded like that, but in a baby form. But you have to realize that Yah only gave tribes his language. Most people didn't have Hebrew. That's why Hebrew was stolen. Okay, I'm going there right there. I'm going to go there. So that's why somebody wanted to steal that language and rename stuff. We'll keep going. So I hope you guys are getting this. Are y'all getting this? Are you guys getting this? Are you guys hold it up? Now, let's put up on the screen, let everybody see this. And you can see this. This is Google search. The most common word for language in Hebrew is shahah, which literally means lip. Another word that can be used, especially more formal, quote unquote, listen to this, an academic context, is pronounced lashon, which literally means tongue. So in other words, when they say pray in other tongues, they're talking about praying in another language. It's a language that people can speak to one another. It is not. And it was never isha da 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 da. That's your learned flesh, which Lucifer used to get you to think that's the sound you use during intercessory prayer. Oh, we got a breakthrough. We've been praying all night. We've been praying all night. We was looking like fools. And Satan knew it. He didn't interrupt it, and he rewarded it. He gave you stuff for it, made miracles come out of it, and because miracles, and it gave you a great feeling and gave you all that stuff, you thought it was coming from the throne, just like I did, but it was a lie from the pit of hell. It has nothing to do with nothing. I was looking stupid. I'll just say, I don't even talk about anybody. I was looking stupid. I looked stupid. Now got mad, felt stupid, all that. But we can see, put that back up there again. Look what it says. Most common word for language in Hebrew. Now, why did we pick Hebrew and not Greek? Huh? Because it's written by somebody who speaks Hebrew, which is Luke. So Luke wrote the book of Acts. He learned it from Paul. Luke never walked with Yahusha, but he was a doctor, and so he was linguist. He's a doctor, so he speaks very, coherent. He was a linguistic. He's educated, and Paul was his teacher. Now Paul speaks multiple languages. He's from the tribe of Benjamin. But he was also, I mean, Paul's primarily language was, Greek. And that's why we had the problem with people with certain concerning other books. But Luke is the writer. Okay? And he's taking account to write this is to let you know that the focus is one accord. And because they were in one accord, y'all opened them up and divided it with a cloven tongue so they all can speak the same language.
Now, when it comes to the Hebrew dialect, it's a dialect that is not have the same tone.
Doesn't have the same tone, yeah.
Of different languages. Because if you study out all the languages in the world, they still have a certain tone.
The tone.
That's why you can understand a little bit because in the English ear.
Why? Because of the first earth age. So because of the first earth age, we all were speaking the language of heaven, which is the Hebrew language. Then when imposters get involved, or those that say that they are from YAHUAH, or they say Jew, okay, that is not Hebrew. That is a different category of a people, and
a different dialect.
In a different dialect. So they brought in their practices and pushed them on Hebrew people and said they did this. And you can look at some of their rituals and you can know within yourself that's not from Yah. That's a Russian thing. That's definitely something else. Where's that coming from? But they're saying they'll use the word Judaism and they'll use the word Lord and they use the word God and then they'll bring Jesus in. Then they'll switch it in and out and they'll always keep tapping you, telling you to pray for the peace of Israel. And Israel is not a continent or country. It's a Hebrew people. You gotta understand that. You gotta understand that. And it's hard to deal with that. It's hard for them to receive that. Right. And so it doesn't matter if they don't receive it from you. It's just a fact. They're just a Hebrew people. They're not Jewish. They said that because of identity theft. They said that because they want to be, and so
but they're not.
They're not. And then and so our language has changed, and our language has changed for many different reasons. There's 3 reasons why our language changed. Okay, and one is to give you different names. Okay, number 2 is to manipulate what you read, and number 3 is to control the narrative. This is what Satan did. This is why in many places they stopped them from reading, they stopped them from learning, they stopped them from understanding, and they will take their concepts and their ideas and turn it into theirs. And that was part of Lucifer's plan, and to make sure that through that process you would lose the hearing for the dialect. And so when somebody else spoke the dialect that you knew was from Yah, you would think that was his people. But in reality, it's not. The book of Revelations tells us so. He says that they're from the synagogue of Satan.
Yeah, and Yeshua as well, when he came across their dialect and he said certain things, he said, how you know this? Or you didn't come from our teaching. How you know our dialect and you ain't come from our...
Yeah, how do you know that you're from us? And he says... and he talks about that. He made mention of that. He says that he got it from above.
Yeah. You remember they questioned him like, how you know all?
He's never been to our schools or anything like this. How does he want to do that?
Yeah.
But then he also said that you search the scriptures and you think that you understand them, but they testify of me.
Right. Exactly, because he's
trying or you read it, you don't even understand the power of it.
Yeah, because you don't know the dialect of it.
You don't know the dialect of it. The dialect, the dialect in the Hebrew language is not in learning. No. The dialect is a hidden code in the DNA of Yah's children, and that's why that scientists see a sparkle going off inside of certain people, because that's the Hebrew people. Okay, there's Yah through Eve, right? Okay, when she was given birth, and this is why Yahusha had to come through Eve. Okay, and so that sound is inside of the skin, And inside there's a memory, not from just here, but from the first earth age. And you can hear it. This is why the gift of the Ruach will allow you to hear or interpret other languages. But there are languages that have been lost over the years because man has, on their own way, colonized so much to remove languages so they can control language. And whatever their language is, they bear all the laws out of that language. The rules come out of that language. That language is a manipulated Hebrew language that they have controlled from a Greek mindset. Okay, now that's not in the Bible. That's just my research. That's not belief, that's knowledge. Okay, let's continue to go. Hope you guys are grabbing this. All right. Okay. Verse 5. It says, now in Jerusalem there they were dwelling Yaduim. Okay, that's the tribe, that's the Hebrew people. And it talks about it. Dedicated men from every nation under heaven. Now, nations, ethnos, which means tongues. It means that's under nations, there's different tongues. Okay? And it says, and when this sound came to be, the crowd came together and were confused because everyone heard them do what? Speak in, what does it say? Everyone heard them speak. Not
His own language.
Speak in his own language. How is that possible? Unless Yah does it. That's what he's referring to. Now, was this the main focus? The focus is, the subject matter is unity. That when there's unity, Yah will allow everybody to understand what everybody's saying. That's it. Where there's no unity, you can't relate, right? Like you get into a flow. My queen always say, we gotta get into a flow, you know, because once we get that unity, you can't stop nothing. Nothing can be stopped, right? Because you don't even gotta say certain things. You hearing it, it becomes part of your everything. So that's what was happening, and so y'all allowed them to have that cloven tongue. Okay, so that everybody can understand each other's language in that room. It was for them in that room. It wasn't for the Gentiles.
Right.
Right? Right? It wasn't for that. Right? At that time, it was for them in that room. And then later on, we'll talk about that too, but this is not the chance. This is not the time. Okay? All right, let's keep on going. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. Okay. Verse 7. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying to each other, Verse 7, look, are not all these who speak Galatians? Okay, Galileans, if you will. So now, if you notice that in their culture, again, people had hid the way to learn other people's languages. So that's how, you know, they almost do it today. It's kind of like you walk in a room, when they don't like you, they speak in the other language.
Right. Not knowing if you know their dialect.
Yeah, you know your dialect.
Right.
You know, if you come in with attitude and you walk into a Spanish place, the Spanish people are going to go from English to Spanish real quick. Right?
Until you respond back.
Until you, like I do.
Yeah. And they were like, oh.
Yeah. I've done that quite a few times. I walk in and I'll be with Kim and they be talking. I was listening. Okay. And then I start speaking it. Right. And then I get in the car and forget even how I even did that. Been there, done that a few times. More than a dozen times that has happened. Well over in my time. So this is what is happening here. Verse 8. Let's keep going. And how do we hear? They're asking the question. How do we hear each one in our own language in which we were born? Okay, stop there. Was you born with E-D-D-D-D-D-D-D? Huh? You wasn't born with that Scooby-Doo? Huh?
No.
And so every millions of people around the world are going to get up and make that sound that they wasn't even born with. How stupid could I have been? That I sit there and looked at that, and I don't know how many times I looked at that.
Well, I don't believe it's written like that in the King James.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably not.
I guarantee it's probably definitely not.
Yeah.
But we got to understand that too, that the word we studied out of messed us up too.
Yeah, and what we studied out of, and we didn't get the name.
They didn't allow you to have access to the true writings.
Mm-hmm. Again, that was part of Lucifer's plan, and being master about that, making sure that he can manipulate what you read. Mm-hmm. You only go as far as what you know, but you can't get. But Yah gave us a way out when He said, "Seek you first." Mm-hmm. And all these things will be added to you. Yeah. And he didn't need. He know
eventually you will find ways to get in.
You'll get it if you kept going.
If you kept going, yeah.
Most don't keep going. Most just want to copy and mimic and blend in, right? And comment and mockery and be behind the scenes talking their little crap, right? But they can't confront a son.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because a son is never going to be confronted. Even when Lucifer shows up in the sixth trump, he going to leave the sons and daughters alone. I guarantee you, there's somebody watching right now would tear his tail up.
Yeah.
Right.
And why would he leave us alone? Because our dialect will destroy him.
Yeah, our dialect. Because he knows that he can't do nothing with those that are marked or sealed. He knows that he cannot say nothing to you. Especially when we in our spiritual body, he'll be here on the sixth trump, but he ain't coming to us. He coming to everybody that's using his name. Okay? All right. So they asked the question in verse 8, and how do we hear each one of us in our own language in which we are born? Look at that. Look at that. They're born with a certain language.
Correct.
And he's saying, how am I understanding
this person
that Spanish person?
Yeah. When I speak this language.
When I speak this language.
Right.
Now, I was born with this language. They sound just as good as me. How's that happening? That was the question. Nobody, when they said they were confused about, and again, Peter is watching this whole scenario, and he's going to have an answer for them. But before we go there, we're going to take a break, because we are getting into just the surface part of what it means to be in harmony with YAHUAH and how he will allow things to run so much smoother. And that's what this was about. It was just the bringing in unity among the children of YAHUAH. It was not about EDDDD and all that crap. It wasn't all about that. And people being sold out to that and just like, again, I'll take me, I'm just looking like I was looking foolish, but I was lacking the knowledge. And so as long as you lack the knowledge, my people perish for a lack of knowledge, but you can't get knowledge without seeking. And you got to seek to be able to go through everything, to penetrate everything, so that you and your family, your children's children, will never be trapped. And I pray today you are not trapped. So we're going to go take a break, give you guys opportunity to go into your giving and receiving. We pray that this word is being a blessing to you. Kim and I'll be right back right after this.
Generations after generations keep praising you, yet no word sums you up. Then I asked the Lord, what name fits you? And he said, yeah. Generations after generations keep praising you, yet no word sums you up. Then I asked the Lord, what name fits you? And he said, yeah.
Welcome back. We're Mark and Kim. So glad you can join us here at THC. Today we're talking about the book of Acts chapter 2 in reference to this subject called tongues. But it's not really tongues. It's about unity in our Father's letter. The subject matter is them being in unity and them questioning all of suddenly how were they able to hear each other speak in each other's own language. This is language. The word tongues is not, it's not babble. That's what you call babbling. Okay, that's from the Tower of Babel. That's from Lucifer, who babbles. If you look at anything that's got to do with babbling, babbling deals with confusion. Basically taking y'all's children and make them sound stupid. And that is what he's doing. And making them believe that through that, that they're going to get a miracle.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Because they.
Or they're going to open up heaven with that sound.
Because they said praying in the spirit.
Yeah.
So the spirit, they thought was blah 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 blah. Ah! All that screaming and stuff, they thought was part of the what they call the Holy Ghost.
Oh, yesterday I was watching on TV somebody that's pretty famous. There be a couple of famous people, and he was like, I sit there and heard him go ta 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 ta. That's why I said it today. Ta 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 ta. I said that he up there doing the ta-tas. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. How in the heck did we get stuck in that?
And I always tell my husband, I think he loves torturing himself. I don't know.
And he's like, I guarantee you.
I don't know why he watched this.
I guarantee you, he was sitting back laughing I think every Sunday he just get a kick out of that.
Yeah, he really think he's top on something.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to get ready to go again. Welcome back. Praying that and believing that you are receiving today. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So we're going to go on. Now we're going to look at now in verse 9 is important because we're going to really look at the cultures, which do not point to anybody there today. Sorry. So again, colonizers. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. So the Parthians, where we have here. Verse 9. Let's look at this here. All righty.
Go ahead.
So verse 9, I'm trying to look on your screen. Okay.
It's right there on the left-hand
side there. Okay. Okay, Parthians. See that in?
No, I gotta look.
Parthins. And that's Iran. The one that they're trying to destroy. Okay, the Parthian Empire is Iran. So all you guys that hate Iran, they were in the room. This is why.
These are the
people that was
in the room.
Yeah. Okay. Give me the camera for a second. This is funny. So you got America trying to destroy Iran, and they're the first one that is mentioned that's in the room.
Exactly.
Okay, they're in the room.
I need to get my King James. I think I threw my King James by the way, so we could see the comparison of what is just.
Yeah, so they're in the room, guys. Now, the majority of these that's listed here are also in the room, but there's some overlap here. And the reason why there's overlap is because you got to realize during that time, okay, there was tribalism, not like what we see today. So the tribes could be 100 miles away and be in the same land. There's just no different if somebody's in Tijuana versus the dialect of Latinos in Los Angeles. They both speak two different ones. So, and I guess they even say there's someone's dirty language. You know, they got stuff like that. And then if you go up higher to San Francisco, they're going to even have a different dialect. Okay, you go, it just depends. Because that's why they say that's why again Lucifer part of that because he's talking about Spanish, China. Spanish, Spaniard, Italian. Why this can't just be just one? Well, that's part of Lucifer's thing because he hate them. Hate them too. Because the Hebrew is just Hebrew. Yeah. Why isn't it got 1,000 different ways to go? But here in America, we just think there's a whole bunch of. We've been taught to believe that there's There's more than one. There's more than one name. There's more than one. There's more than what, you know, and so forth. Okay, Medes. Okay, let's look at the other one. And I believe, again, the majority of that's here. The Medes, where you get Mede Persia at. Okay, you hear that term.
Elamites.
The Elamites. Okay, these are mites here. Okay.
Around.
Yeah, and then
So they dwell in around. Those are dwelling around.
Yeah, these are from Elam. The Elamites, they're from Elam. Again, there was
a lot of people in that room.
Wow.
I said there was a lot of people in that room.
Yeah, it was 120 people that was in that room. But the Elamites, they are, again, these first three groups, the Parthians, the Medes, the Amalekites, this is all Iranians. The ones they trying to kill right now. I just get crack up. And those dwelling in Aram, I'm going down the list. Nerham. Now, then you got both YAHUAH and this, Cappadocia. Now these ones sound Dokaya. That one sounds. That I think there was a couple of Greeks up in there. Hold on, let me write this. I think this is one of those Greek ones. I'm not for sure. Let me go in here and look.
It seems like it's all the South Africa. I mean, not South Africa, the African continent.
Yeah. Okay. So Cappadocia is in Turkey, but the region that it's closer to that. It's closer to the left side over there. So yeah, you would have some Greek people follow that, but that's Turkey. Turkey is where Abraham came from, so where his dad was at. Okay, and then Pontus, and then Asia. Okay, Pargia. You see this name in the Book of Revelations.
I didn't. You want to put it on screen, or you just?
Yeah. No. We had let's put them on the screen so they can see it, just in case you don't have it. Okay, so we're looking at all in verse 9.
Left side of your screen.
On left side of your screen, you can see these names. So, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, and it's funny because your scholars today, or I wouldn't call them scholars, but your religious people, they don't make mention of this because especially people from Israel, that the current people that are there in that land, Israel, they're not from Israel, they're from that land. They migrated there, and then they took it over. But they don't talk about this because this is both northern Africa and so forth. And then you look at verse 10. Let's look at that word, and you in your spare time, when you go and look at these. What you can't look at them with a 21st century mind. These individuals are not in cars and airplanes, and nobody's going to be walking 200, 300, 400 miles to go say hi to somebody. You know, they're not going to do that. So this Asia Minor, this one that says Pargia, okay, and so forth, and you know and again, when you're Googling stuff, they're going to make it, more European than anything because that's what they do to steal identities, and so be it. There's nothing we can do about that, but that's just part of it. But during this time, this is what this kingdom looked like, and so forth. Okay, and then we'll continue to go, and it says Pampula. Okay, Misstream, and parts of Libya and Cyrene, but then now it says comma, and notice what it says after the comma. See that right there? Visitors from Rome. I need you guys to see that.
It's on the right side.
It's on the right side at the very top. Why did it say visitors? Okay, why does it say visitors? Because you need a witness. Yah always demonstrates with a witness. So the visitors are there because those visitors happen to be Gentiles. That's why Gentiles believe, okay, and sons become woke up. It became awakening. You know, I remember we did that conference called the Awakening. Yeah, we was on with yeah. But the awakening is the sons and daughters. So the sons and daughters need to awake, and the Gentiles need to believe. Okay, and the sons need to be teaching the Gentiles, not the other way around, like we see so perversely. Okay, not saying that they can't teach. I'm just saying it should be coming from the sons of Yah. That's why all creation is waiting for the sons of Yah to be revealed. And whosoever's were the Gentiles, okay? And most people that has a Gentile mentality is because they were told they were. Just like he was, there's a lot of things that you were told who you were and you really wasn't, but that was so that man can control you. And you have to study to show yourself approved. There's nothing that y'all can do without you studying. There's nothing that y'all can do on your behalf with ignorance. He can't do anything when you lack the knowledge. Okay, the knowledge will protect you. The knowledge will give you the power. The knowledge will give you the influence. You gotta have the knowledge to win. The knowledge will block off the devil. Okay, the knowledge will, not your belief system. You gotta have the knowledge. Because if you have a belief system, Satan will use that all day because you had a belief system since you were born. Okay, but you need to have the knowledge. And the knowledge is going to cost you because Satan in every possible way will use all the internet to make sure that what you think Israel is different. He will make sure he's a confuser. He will give different names. That's his ultimatum. He will manipulate materials and contents. That is his motive. He will change everything and you can't find it unless you can manipulate even AI, which I know how to do, and manipulate that. Why? To control the narrative. He wants you to see him as you see Yahusha. That's his goal. 1000%. And the scripture says he has accomplished it worldwide. He said he causes all, all you guys, the whole world will bow down to him, except those who have been sealed or marked. That's not going to be a lot, right? Okay. All right. So visitors in Rome, let's go back and look at that. And so that's the quote unquote, visitors in Rome. Then it says both Yahudim. Now, notice that right after that, it says both visitors in Rome, both Yahudim. That's Hebrew. Then notice the third category, and converts. So you got visitors, all the other categories that are in there, majority of that's Turkey and Medo-Persia. It's in North Africa. You see all those continents, okay? So that's one group of people that spoke many different dialects. Remember, there's 120 people. Then there's a category of visitors from Rome, okay? They don't probably know anything. They just like, man, I'm in agreement. You know, hey, listen, I don't believe that. You know how you always go into a family or you always go into a neighborhood or you always go into a place where there's always somebody else that don't agree with their mess. That's what these people are from Rome. But then it says both Yahudim, okay, and converts. So they putting those together, both Yahudim and converts. So the converts are most likely Gentiles as well. So but it exclusively mentions Yahudim, Hebrew people, okay, Hebrew people. This is who they're talking about, okay. Then it goes in the Cretans and the Arabs, okay. Here's what it says right here in verse 11. The Cretans and the Arabs, we hear them speaking. You should underline speaking, everything you see. Speaking in our tongue. Put language there. With great actions of Elohim. So it says here that they were speaking in other languages with great actions with Elohim. That's what we see. Mm-hmm. Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm. That just in these verses, verse 11, for all these first 11 verses, all we can see here is that these individuals were in such one accord from the visitors from Rome to all North Africa, or just tribes. There wasn't a million people here doing this, just pockets of people. But 120 people were in that room, in that house. And y'all, presence came up on them.
Yeah, so I was just looking while you was talking, so I just looked it up. So in Africa today, I'm quite sure back then, that's where they got, there's 54 countries within that. So those countries were represented in that room, and the Asian part of it was 49. So when you do that, it's 103. So I'm trying to figure out where the other...
We got Rome.
Right, but Rome was part of, Rome is part of, I believe they put them as Europe.
Yeah, Europe.
Yeah. So the 44, so you add that to that. Because I'm trying to figure out which ones actually was represented. Because we always think in America's everywhere.
No. These were Africans. Yeah, right. These are what we call Africans was a Kemet back then, because of the barbarians that continued to come in and ravage the place and rape and rape and rape and rape the women. And this is why today that all those rapes. That's why you see them with like the Arabs you see them with European.
You're right. So it's a beautiful thing because the countries from Asia travel to Africa to go into this room. It wasn't. We're getting this mindset that they all lived in the South, in Africa.
No, they traveled there.
They traveled there
because it says they're visitors.
They're visitors.
It says
Rome is a visitor because he's coming from Europe.
Visitors from Rome. Do you know how much money they had to have to go from Rome all the way there and have people take them there? And it's on the festival of weeks. Okay, so this is a festival that they are attending, which is a Shavuot. Okay, that festival of weeks, they all left. Probably they left Rome a month before that. They caravan with all their gold, and silver, and everything. And they showed up. And the word traveled because in chapter 1, Yahusha was risen. And so that's why it makes, in the first part of the scripture, it talks about one of the first groups here. Let me look in, I can't see that one. Let me go back over here. Verse 9. I believe it's in verse 9.
YAHUAH? Which one?
No, when they say these the men, they're from Galatian or something like that.
Oh, it's
they're Galileans. Okay, Galatians or Galileans.
It's not verse 8.
Oh, look at verse 8. Yeah, look, are they not these? Are not all these who speak? Yeah.
Or excuse me, 7 verse.
Yeah.
End of 7. It says, look, are not all these who speak Galileans?
Yeah, and so Galileans are also they have that because you see this. At the end of Acts chapter 1, they make mention of that group and when that they were there watching Yahusha leave. Some of those people were Greek and Roman, and they went back to Rome, and that's why as soon as they got there, those people came back with them, and that's why in chapter 2 you see them.
Right.
Because they were there when they saw Yahusha leave.
Right.
Okay?
Right, because even though we have 7 continents, back then there wasn't 7 continents that were recognized. It was only like 4.
Yeah, and the thing about is Europe and Europe and Rome understood the importance of language domination. They were so far advanced because they weren't just advanced; they are of their father, and every strategy they put in place is to kill, steal, and destroy. They can't do anything outside those 3.
Yeah. Now, we all understand that Africa is where it started, but that's not where it ends.
Right.
If I can use it that way. With everybody that was there, that's where it started. So even though their lineage branched out into those different continents, they still came back to meet up for whatever, the 7 weeks, the weeks of...
The 3 dates, they met for Passover. They met up for...
Right, and I want to say this because it's important, because till this day, they all still go over there. And they all
go over there, yeah.
On that side of the pond, or they call it the pond, on that side of the pond, they still all meet up in Africa. Right. And even though they don't talk about it, but they do, because they've been doing this before America was even in existence. They've been doing that. So it's a thing that they do. And that's why they do what they do concerning Africa and trying to take the minerals and do all what
They all do that. France does it.
all
Europe does that. They all try to steal from them. And the reason why they prey on them because those people have such a heart to give, and they took advantage of that when they opened their doors to them. And that's the same thing that took advantage of the people here. And what this was, I don't even know. I forget the way this country was called before North America.
Right.
But all that happened in the past, and so the Europeans, they knew Satan gave them the roadmap, and they took it, hook, line, and sinker. Okay, and so these are all the countries. Now, today it will give you an idea of the area. Now, remember they changed a lot of the names. Okay, but within reason, it gives you the area. So the photos will definitely be wrong. Okay, the people, you know, they're gonna show you. They won't show you just. It's gonna let them photos blown in every one of those.
I just love it because I read forward.
Okay.
I read forward. I read forward. So you were coming out of 12.
Yeah, we're coming out of 12.
Yeah.
And they go ahead.
Okay.
What verse you want to go to?
No. You can finish going. You're coming out of 12.
I'm coming out of 12. Okay.
Yeah, they all were amazed and were puzzled.
Yeah, they were all amazed and puzzled. Sages, what does this mean? Okay. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing is that they were saying, okay, I'm hearing 120 people talk. What does this mean? Does it mean that? No. It didn't mean all that. And then verse 13, and others mocking. Who's this?
Yeah. Who's the others?
Who's the others? So I'm gonna tell you who the others is. Them Roman people. I'm gonna tell you right now. These are Roman people. That's why visitors. The doggone visitors always mocking.
Keep going. Keep reading.
Okay. Because they were puzzled. Now, why were they puzzled? Because they didn't have the voice of Yah. So they puzzled. Because their father is the author of confusion. They're confused. Okay? Saying to each other, what does this mean? And then it says, and others mocking. Rome brought these people. They was, you know what's so funny is that these guys were enjoying when they couldn't relate to each other. But they didn't start talking smack until they can communicate as one. They didn't talk smack when they couldn't talk to each other. What kind of people is this? When they start talking to each other, they started mocking it. And what's the first thing they do? These fools is drunk. Oh, that's not what it says. It says, they have been filled with the sweet wine. Verse 14.
But this is the part.
Okay, this is where we're going to end it at right here. But Peter.
Wait, before we go there.
Kapha. Yeah. Okay.
Before we go there.
Okay, we
you
hold
gotta
on.
understand. Remember what I said, that they've been having these meetings for centuries, decades. Right? So that means Yahshua was there at one point too, before he was crucified and risen, right? He went to those meetings. Because why? Why? How you know he went to those meetings? Because Peter's at it right now. so let's read what Peter say.
Yep.
So you got to remember. So how? Because the only way you can get into these doors,
it's a house. You
got to be invited.
You got to be invited.
So Peter was invited based on who Yahshua was.
Yeah, so he's invited, but somebody else brought them other looky-loos. That's why I said.
I'm saying,
that's why, and early on, let you know they visitors.
No, I know, but I want them to understand that this meetup has always been a meetup. It's nothing new.
Now it is, and that's why they call it the Kodesh place. It's been separated.
Right. So
got some spies in the camp. Yep.
Yeah. So it's nothing new. So now we get over here to verse 14, and where it reads where Peter says.
Now, and Peter stands up. And watch what it said. He stands up with the 11.
With the 11 that now is under his care.
No, that's on his care.
Yeah.
He in charge.
He in charge.
Let's get that straight. Okay, Peter ain't from Rome.
Peter ain't from Rome.
Okay?
From Yahuwah.
Pray from Yahuwah. Right?
Right.
Okay. All right. I hope y'all getting this.
And it says,
And he lifted up his voice. That means he was speaking with authority. And said to only what? Give it. He said and looked at the Romans. He looked at everybody. He looked at the Greeks. He looked at everybody. And he only focused his attention
on his people.
on his people.
That's right.
Girl, he only focused it on men of Yahudah.
Yeah,
They gave you all the categories. He just went, look.
I'm focused on my house.
Look, I don't know about them
Yeah.
them visitors over there. I didn't invite them.
All that what they saying?
I didn't got nothing to do with them. Men of Judah. Men of Yahudah.
Yeah. Listen up.
Pay attention, y'all.
Pay attention.
Okay, that's the first group. Okay, so he separated them, and then he says, and all those dwelling. Okay? All those who hanging out.
Up in here.
All y'all, whoever hanging up on him. But men of Yahudah, that right there went like this. Right? They straightened up right there. Okay, get yourself right. Men of Yahudah. Okay? And all you rest of you that's hanging out. Let this be known to you.
And listen close.
And listen closely to my words.
I know I'm related. I love it.
Yeah. Listen to my words. For these men ain't drunk. As you imagine.
Yeah.
Okay? Since it is the only third hour of the day. Like, let's be realistic. But this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall be in the last days, saith the Creator, Elohim, that I will pour out my Ruach on all flesh. And your sons and daughters shall prophesy. It ain't going to be in no book. Okay? And your young men shall see visions. And your old men shall dream dreams. And also on my male servants and on my female servants, I will pour out my Ruach in those days, and they shall prophesy. And I will show wonders in the heavens above and the signs in the earth beneath. Blood, fire, and vapor of smoke. The sun shall turn into darkness and the moon into blood before the coming of the great and splendid day of Yahuwah. Let's stop there. So Peter takes some from what that day is
To what
to the sixth day, to the sixth trump, to the seventh trump.
all in that statement. Sit here and mock somebody.
So, you know, I'm going to take you all the way. Because he already got his head. I know what's going to happen to seventh trump. I know what's going to happen to sixth trump too. Sixth trump, you're going to see darkness. You're going to see, and he's just laying it out. He not E-D-D-D-D-D-D-D-D-D-D-D.
And and the part of, don't play me with about they drunk. They ain't drunk.
Yeah, don't play me on that. Come on, man.
They ain't drunk. They're fully coherent on what they're saying.
And when he said men of Yahudah, he didn't even look at that. He said, look.
Don't like that.
Here, you know how that look up? Look.
Yeah. Don't be
men of Yahudah. I got you.
Don't even fall in the game.
Don't even trip. Don't even trip. Men of Yahudah. Okay? So it'll be like kings of the house. Wait, hold up. And all you that up in this room.
And the rest of you that's up in here.
And the rest of you that's up in this room. The kings of the house, and then all y'all who's up in the room.
Listen to my words.
Listen to my words.
He didn't say Yahuwah's words. He said my words.
Mine.
That's important. That's important. That's a key point of standard of power. Listen to my words.
The book of Acts chapter 2, people. We're just in the beginning of it. We got so much more to cover. We're going to give you guys a few minutes to say what you have received so far. I pray that you're hearing. Your hearing is just, you're excited what you're hearing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Jamie had said, how do you look up the map? You look up based on, you just say before AD. That's how you would look it up, Jamie. You just say the continent before AD or after AD or whatever where you trying to get. But there's really, there's 7 continents. The 7 continents. The first continent was Africa. Then it spread it. But I believe at that time was only 4 or 3. I can't remember, but it was about that many. But then within those continents, they had so many countries within those continents. But they all came back to the African continent because that's where it started and that's where it began and that's where they, until this day, they still do it. They don't talk about it, but that's what they do.
Yeah. Them people that were there fighting, that's not the tribe.
And it's proof just by the fact that Peter's and the 11 are at this event after Yeshua has been crucified. After. So that means the only way Peter could end up in there was because Yeshua was in there too. There's just that talked about. But it's proof because Yeshua took his disciples wherever he needed them to go to participate. That's why certain things that now make sense when he say I need to go in fellowship and be a part of the country, the government system. He would go sit amongst them, the leaders and rulers. Yeshua would go sit amongst them. Well, what do we mean? Now it makes sense where he would go. He would go to see how they function. So he knew how they function. He knew all about that because, of course, you had a certain posture, certain dollar amount, certain money. This is a money room. These are leaders that controlled countries. This wasn't just basic people that were just living.
They're very, very influential people.
Yeah, very influential. So, and it wasn't about doing rituals. It was just meeting up on functioning within countries and how to do business within countries. This is how it all is. It's always been, it's always is. That's why till this day you see our country say, well, we need to buy this much from you and we got to do this over here. Because they're trying to keep the money in circulation. Everybody's money got to keep.
And Rome was trying to control everybody. So, like they do today.
Yeah, so they find out what continent got the most products. Source of resources. Resources. And Africa was the one that had the most resources. That's why they all want to get a part of that and grab.
And they were angry because of the word the Hebrew people.
Yes.
Everybody, you got to realize they're the most hated people on earth. They're hated to the point that they just want to strip their name, their identity, everything, and give it to themselves. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Satan pulled off the greatest identity theft in the world to do that. And so they just want to strip them, and they're hated. Anything that's got to do with it. They gave you a cross versus the tree. The scripture tells you he was hung on a tree, not a cross. Mm-hmm. And it's just so much that they just inundate you with to control the narrative, to provide different names, and make sure that they can manipulate the whole entire system. That's what they do. They want to manipulate what you read. Mm-hmm. Unless you study, you'll never find out.
Yeah, and drunkenness, when it talked about being drunk, see, that's the mastery of Lucifer. It makes your mind think that being drunk is not that's not godly or whatever language you use.
What is that? But
realistically,
Solomon talked about how drunk he got.
Yeah, it's not about the drinking.
No, it's not.
It's about you are trying to mock what was going to take place.
Yeah, you're trying to mock the fact that they were in agreement.
That's right.
And you call that drunkenness.
Yeah, and that wasn't drunkenness. That was now I need to correct you because now I'm not going to sit amongst you and be a part of this, whatever you got going on. Because that's what that was. Like Peter was like, hold up. You thought we was all going to come here and you was going and you a visitor?
Yeah, you a visitor? You think you can come here and run something? Men of YAHUAH.
Until this day, Rome don't go to.
No, they don't.
They don't know.
But they send people from.
No, I'm just saying. Till this day, they don't. They don't.
Well, they infiltrate.
Yes.
Rome has gotten really smart. They infiltrate. They're Nazis. They're Germans. But they don't go under the word that. They go under the word Jew.
Yeah. Exactly.
They hide themselves in, we're Jew. We're his chosen.
That's right.
Yeah, so I can screw you. I can screw up. I can steal from you. I can take from you because I'm a Jew. Yeah, that's what they go under today. Yeah.
And so so when you start studying out, you see and you understand more and more about how simple it is, and you can see it from back then to where we're at today. And nothing's changed. They still function the same. Only thing now they're just more mastery at it. They're more. You got technology behind them.
Yeah, I would say the media.
And now they make you watch their spin. And
and
Peter told you how to deal with that spin. You're like, hold up.
Well, that's why the prime example. Yes. Why do you think the whole United States wants to get rid of TikTok?
Right.
Because they can't control the narrative.
Right. So
they force somebody.
And they still haven't come to their head that you'll never be able to control the narrative.
Because Yah speaks to the heart.
And
the sons of Yah will come to the side.
Look.
Okay.
I just love Peter. What did Peter say? Look, listen to my words.
Okay, wait, what here we got here? Okay. All right.
You read it? Are you?
No.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, because Peter's saying, listen to my words. Listen closely to my words. For these men are not drunk, as you imagine.
As you imagine.
Yeah.
As you
imagine.
Your assumptions.
Yeah. Since it's only the 3rd hour of Yom. But this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall be in the last day, say Elohim, that I shall pour out my ruach on all flesh. Okay, that's it.
He'll get the sons, the daughters, young men, old men.
He's going to pour it out.
And there's nothing you can do. The only, I'll say this, the only revival right now is Lucifer's revival.
Mm-hmm. His survival. That's what it is. He can't get revived. He's trying to do survival. He's under survival mode right now.
And he absolutely knows he's the first one to perish. Mm-hmm. But he wants to take as many as he can with him. But Yah had a plan, the 1,000-year millennium. Because if you block out all the information, you block the names, you manipulate what they read, and you control the narrative, that's why that 1,000-year millennium is there, to wake people up. Some will still follow Lucifer after that, and they need to go with him so we can be done with him. Okay? Hey guys, we got to stop.
Yes, we do.
We have went over time, and again, this has been great. Dr. Rosetta, I see you. You said, I've always had a problem with that because being drunk to me is not being in control. So how can that be from Yah? That's a good one. You know, to be filled and drunk did not make sense. Always trying to get those resources. Yep, that's what he tries to do. And let me see. Interesting. I go back up to Jamie. She said, interesting that we just read all around what it says. Didn't make sense, but we still prayed in tongues. Yeah, because we were blind. I blame myself for that. And again, you know, just the thought of just being used by that that just irritated me. Dr. Rosetta puts, wow, Lucifer revival. Yeah, that's deep. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. And if you notice on the Christian networks, they like selling children. And they like selling people, raising money for people. Oh, man, they have a price to pay. And I'm not judging no man. That's not my judgment. The judgment is for the Most High. But I will judge what I see.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They wear that don't judge mess up so much that you end up in bondage because you're not judging. You end up in abuse because you're not judging. You end up in so many wrong positions because you're scared to judge. I'm going to judge every daggone thing. I'm telling you. I'm going to do exactly what my father did. Judge. And I'm going to judge you. Judging helps you make good decisions.
You have to judge.
You have to judge. Yeah. That's the mastery of Lucifer. He don't want you to judge him because then he can't manipulate you. He can't.
That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah, that is a whole nother subject. But
we got into that one yesterday. Yeah. That's a whole nother subject.
I'm gonna be judging. I'm gonna judge every daggone thing.
Ooh-wee. You have to.
Yeah.
That's like saying don't judge things. So you're a CEO of the company. You're not gonna judge your staff. You're not gonna.
I'm gonna judge everything.
You judge everything, right?
Yes. You have to judge everything.
Yeah. You just don't let them get in here.
I ain't gonna condemn you to someplace. I'm just gonna judge
Yeah.
my reaction with you. My you know.
My space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing a condemnation.
Yeah, I'm not doing a condemnation. You do what you want to do, but I'm gonna judge how you gonna walk around.
How you gonna function around me and what I'm gonna listen to.
Yeah, what I'm gonna listen to.
And I'm gonna say something about what I'm listening to.
I'm gonna say something.
I'm gonna
do
say
exactly
something.
how Peter did. Okay, you
I'm
in
gonna
my
do
space now.
Yeah. Oh, you wanna come over here and tell me what you doing over here? And what you mean what I'm doing over here? I ain't bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
I am not bothering you.
That's right.
You better back up.
You better back up.
Okay? And this is why Lucifer is not going to touch the sons of Yah. Guys, we love you. We're going to let you go.
Yeah, we got to go.
Okay? Till next time, remember these words. If you be in the Mashiach, you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Till next time, this is Mark Ken signing off on THC. We're glad you guys can join us. Bye-bye.
There's no